Hi there, C.J. Miller in Shreveport, Louisiana, across the Red River from beautiful Bossier City, Louisiana, and this is fish that I'm frying, and this is about ready to take out. One of the things that I like to do, I did the potatoes, a couple of fried potatoes, and I'm using the basket dipper this time. I don't always do that, but anyway, these fillets, I cut them in half. I have a wet batter with consisting of 2 eggs and equal portions of moisture. This time it was tap water and flour. And I let the catfish sit in the dry batter. I mean in the wet batter. Until I was ready for it in the refrigerator. Then I took it out, let it get to room temperature, and then I breaded this, or I took the wet batter and rolled it in a seasoned flour, which I'm about to show you. But first I'm going to dip these. Hang on one second. Let the chicken drain on a plate that has like a little dip for a reservoir, and sprinkle some seafood seasoning on it of your choice. And of course, I use like anything that's thick paper, parchment paper. This time I've repurposed a brown paper bag that I have that I'm going to use for drainage, and then I'm going to throw out. Anything like that. Paper towels sometimes get a little bit too weak for this type of drainage. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically, these are the potatoes that I've sprinkled with Italian seasoning, and I'm using a seafood seasoning to sprinkle on the fish once it's done. A seasoning salt is what I've seasoned the flour with, and of course the wet batter that I talked about, no seasoning at all. Now, of course, anytime that you're frying, you really have to keep an eye on the oil because whatever you add to it, breaded, if there's fluids coming off of the food or whatever, it will, you're going to get this effect, where it kind of bubbles up, especially with what I use. I use a combination of vegetable oil and unsalted butter because I love a good buttery flavor, and I think that consistency works a little bit better than using a margarine, which is an oil based, or any of the butter flavored greasy lard kind of things. Back in the day, it used to be butter flavored Crisco. I don't even see that around anymore. But basically, I love a good butter flavor, and then the oil is to stabilize and to help keep it from scorching too much. This you won't have to do more than a few minutes because it's dipping all in once. If you were pan frying penne, you do like maybe 3 to 5 minutes per side. But just as anything on the stovetop, you really do have to look, and when frying, you adjust your temperature. Like this. Once it drains off, it's going to be already kind of golden, but it's not quite done on the inside, so I turn it down a little bit, and let it continue to get to temperature on the inside. It won't take that long. Here, maybe 5-6 minutes per fillet, give or take. If it's thicker, watch that. With a little bit of repetition, you'll know how your own stovetop functions. You'll know. The only way to do it is to do it, and a little bit of trial and error, because every thing's a little bit different. They used to say to me, that the elders in my life used to say there may be 10 different ways to get from my house to their house. There's more than one way to fry a fish. And of course, occasionally the paper that I'm using will need to be changed. This is what I'm draining, and basically the reason why I'm doing this is so that the oil does not make the food soggy. You know, the whole idea is to drain it to help it get crispy, not to let it sit and sog. But yeah, I love to use anything like this. You know, those cardboard, cases where the sodas come in? I use those a lot, But yeah, sometimes, like I said, sometimes paper towel products will cling to a hot grease or whatever. And nobody wants to deal with that. Now here what I've done is I've taken the leftover flour. Now it's okay to do this because I'm going like straight from the batter and going right into, this is the dry flour that I started this with. I didn't use the wet batter. But basically, the dry batter, I took, your basic biscuit type recipe, which is the 1 part dry ingredient, a half part liquid, and a quarter part fat, that you need to do that, or oils or whatever, those types of things. What I've done here is I've taken that, and of course, remember it had that seasoning in it, so that's fine. But I added some green herb Italian seasoning to get in here and give it a little bit of flavor. And then, of course, this is Havarti cheese. And then I took that consistency and I rolled it into these little balls, about the consistency of a sausage cheese ball, if you've seen those recipes, or a biscuit or something. But basically, this is going to go in these biscuits. They're going to go into my air fryer. And in the bottom of this pan, I have a little bit of oil. And you can take the oil and you can lift it right out of your fry pan just to coat the bottom of this. It's, that's fine. It's going to be great. You can heat up your entire kitchen, although I've been frying, but you could heat your kitchen up with more, with a greater bit of heat if you want to, or you could use a convection oven like I'm using on a air fryer setting, or you actually can take this and make like little patties, and you can do a pan bread. I've done that before. But what I want to do is I want to bake these until they're done. This is going to swell up. When you're mixing this, you don't want to over mix it. You don't want to overly activate those glutens that naturally, you can activate them by mixing this flour. And that's what you want to do if you want to really, really get in there and knead some bread dough for a long time. If you're working on making a loaf of bread, sure. But if you're making like a biscuit, you don't want to activate. Those glutens, So you just want to maybe use just enough of a mixing to incorporate with that without overly kneading. Okay, so I'm gonna pause the video again. By the time we come back, this will be ready, and I will be ready to sample the dinner. Okay, so now look at this. This is all my fish, and it's draining. I had it on the other piece of paper, and then I brought it over here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Huh? No, what? Hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Aha! 8. Well, 7.5. This is the tip of it that I got to taste to make sure that it was cooked thoroughly. I recommend, if you're a cook, you do that, and because you don't want to take your food to the table to serve, and you go to serve your people, and it's like, okay, it's underdone. Fish does not taste great underdone. I don't understand sushi at all. I like my fish to be cooked. No, I don't know. Just call me weird. I don't know. But anyway, sushi, if they cook the rice, why don't they cook the fish? Anyway, yeah, and then I've got the fried potatoes still on the other paper. I'm about to bring over and uh, sit on the dryer piece of paper here, and then by the time the biscuit type bread that I'm making, it's a biscuit, but there's Havarti cheese in it and other things and whatever. So by the time they come out, the bread that I'm making to go with this, we will be I will be ready to sample this in front of you. Aha! So as I'm letting these bits of bread rolls or whatever, these biscuit rolls or whatever, uh, as I let them settle and cool down, because they will continue to cook internally, I'm going to lift some of the Havarti cheese that's poured out and got to the pan, and I'm going to kind of pull that back over the top. Hang on. So I love this. I love this. As I wanted, uh, they're firm and they are not sticking to the dish, and want to let them continue to cook as they rest. They're not ready to eat yet, but I'm going to take them out and let them cool. They'll continue to cook internally. It will be wonderful. Let me show you a trick though. Now, this was a dense dough, so you want to be careful of that. But take a toothpick, go right to the center, and when you pull it out, clean toothpick means that this is yeah, there's going all the way through. No batter, no dough, nothing. It's more of a test for a cake. But yeah, this is this is that ratio that I gave for the biscuit works for basically anything. It's just your basic. You can get a good crust for a pie if you roll that out thin enough, not over mixing the glutens. If it's unseasoned, then you can get a good morning biscuit. Yeah, it's great, but you could even roll that out and do a pizza dough, turn it into a pizza dough very easily. Uh, you know, so remember, it's 1 part self-rising flour, uh, a half part moisture, a quarter part uh, fat or oil or something like that. So yeah, so one half, 1/4. And yeah, that's about it. It's all a question of ratios. Okay, so um, yeah, here we are, and lots of different things. You know, uh, this is not a keto meal, and because I'm not really going to worry about the next month, I'm going to be focusing more on portion control than a specific keto. Smaller amounts throughout the day. This is perfectly fine for a meal portion. 2 to 3 ounces of fish, a little bit of a bread, a little bit of a potato. I'm still not a vegetable person, never really will be. But I'm going to work on that for more efficient, use of nutrients by my body. And just trying to get ready for what's coming, to be in a better shape. So let's get into this right here. Hang on. So a little flaky biscuit. Very flavorful. The reason This would be good. Make even a little smaller. You could serve more people with it. But uh, the reason why this is good is because of the Havarti cheese. And of course, it has those flavors that we put on everything else, especially in the fish batter. So nothing gets wasted. Um, Perfect. That's good. Finger food, bro. Mm. Wash that down with a little Coke Zero. They could have cooked a minute or so longer, but I really wouldn't have gone. I prefer this flakiness over and it being a moist biscuit or bread versus it being too dry. The potatoes, even this thick potato, cooked through and nice and flavorful. I reduce calories by not using condiments. Or if I did, I'd be more on your dipping sauce, mayo, uh, tartar sauce, that type of stuff. I'd be more inclined to do that than an actual ketchup. I'm not a ketchup fan. Okay, finger food here. I don't even know why I brought this fork with me. And I don't know if you can hear the crunch. You're probably like, please stop chewing in my ear. But look, you want crunch. Very, very delicious. How I got this crunchiness, and it's probably the way I'm going to do fish from now on, because in the past I've used a wet batter that I've come across with a fish and chips kind of a, fish, English pub fish kind of thing. I've used a dry batter and have come across with a nice crunch, but either way, I have found that I sacrifice something in both. With the wet batter, I get, a nice coating in a bread and everything like that, but I don't always get the crispiness. And here, and sometimes it's heavy. Sometimes it'll be too heavy and it'll drip off or something. And then with the I'm digesting food, it's so delicious. Sometimes with the dry batter, just like a flour or something like that, put directly on the or either an egg wash and whatever, but not without a wet batter, but just a bath, and then rolling into the dry ingredient and then into the oil. Sometimes I'll get that crispiness, but there's no thickness or whatever. And it's I just think that this combination is probably the better way to go. It has been for me. I like it. I'm also going to try my chicken that way too, because this looks like it would be great for chicken. Um, just an adjustment of some of the flavors from a seafood to another type of would be it. But I mean, the consistency of it would look good. So let me just Oh, hang on. Oh. Mm-hmm. Okay. If anyone ever has any questions about the meals that I make, if I'm not giving enough detail or something, please just let me know. Uh, I will answer. I love to communicate with people who watch my videos, and I communicate with other people when I watch their videos, and just, that's cool. Okay. Um, yeah, come check us out in Shreveport, Bossier, Northwest Louisiana. Lots of fun things to do, lots of fun things to see. Love and light. Bon appetit. Peace. Goodbye.